Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be analysing a very exciting project. As you can see, the views are very pretty, like OMG, oh my god. So this is none other than One Marina Gardens. So One Marina Gardens is actually right next to the Gardens by the Bay, also near to the Marina Bay Sands. It's a very good location in the central region, and hence today we'll be talking about this topic. So who's suitable for OMG One Marina Gardens? It's actually suitable for people who love staying near the park, people with pets, or if you're looking for somewhere with a very high rental yield, this is the project that you should not miss out. So what will we be discussing today? Today we'll be discussing about the rental yield in Singapore and why OMG One Marina Gardens is actually a very good project in terms of rental yield. And we'll also be discussing a few case studies using the Marina One residences, Midtown Modern, Dual residences, and these are very important case studies that you should look out for because they're actually in the central region, and we'll actually share with you and give you more insights about how would the rental yield be like if you were to enter One Marina Gardens. And afterwards, I'll be sharing with you about the fact sheet unit mix, location, and also the potential township that we have in the Marina Bay area, followed by the prices and layout. So I'll leave the most important things, which is the rental yield, in the front part of the video. So after you understand more about One Marina Gardens high rental yield, then you can move on to the next part of the video. So without further ado, let's start. So if you're an investor today and you want to get high rental yield, first you must know what is the average rental yield for the property in the Singapore market. So how is the average yield like for the properties in Singapore? Generally, according to the property reports across Singapore, the average rental yield for Singapore is around 4.3%. And here what I have is a few new launch projects that have already TOP in 2024 and 2023, so that you can actually take a look at the rental yield. The rental yield is right here on the right side of the table, and you can see that the number actually vary from 3.4% all the way up to 4.6%, and the average is actually at 3.4%. Some of the projects you might be familiar with, as we have been talking about it a lot, include Claiborne, One Per Bank, also the Reef at King's Dock, and also like Affinity Treasure at Tampines. These are the very popular projects, and what are their rental yield is also ranging around 3.4 to 4%. So average the market rate for rental yield in the new launch projects and also across Singapore property market will be around 3.4%. Next, I also have more projects for you to have a more detailed understanding. So as you can see from this table, even other projects for like Momentum Park, the rental yield in the market is around 3.4%, and some of the property in the market do not perform as well. So for example, like Boulevard 88 or One Court, the rental yield is around 2+% over here. So rental yield will actually vary depending on the location and also the product itself, and that's why it's very important for you to understand about rental yield if you want to enter the project in the central region. And usually for central region, you should focus more about rental yield. So when you're thinking about the One Marina Gardens, the most important thing that you should consider here if you're coming in as an investor is really the rental yield. And in this video, we'll analyze a lot in terms about the rental prices for the different layouts and also the rental yield in the market itself. And it might sound very simple, but how or why is rental yield very important to investors like you, and how will you actually make it safer for you to exit? So in the next slide, I will actually share with you a few case studies. So for example, a one bedroom over here, both costing around $1.3 million. At $1.3 million, you can actually enter into the One Marina Gardens, which is OMG, or the other new launches such as the Lentor Central, Lakeside, Tampines, and also like the Alta. But why should you enter the One Marina Gardens? What is the difference between the OMG versus the other projects that are outside of the central region area? The main difference here is actually the rental yield. So if you were to enter into somewhere outside of the central region, sometimes you'll find that a one bedroom might not get a higher rental yield, and that rental yield will average around 3,200. However, if today you're entering into One Marina Gardens OMG, your rental yield will be around 4,600. And what would this difference actually make? You can see that the difference is actually the rental yield. So for projects that are outside of the central region, generally the rental yield may not be as strong, and the average will be around 3%. Whereas if you are looking at a project at One Marina Gardens, even with this same assumption, the rental yield is around 4.2% itself. So based on the rental yield, definitely as an investor looking on rental yield, One Marina Gardens give you a higher returns. And also after entering into One Marina Gardens, which one do you think think will be easier for the future buyers to accept. So here we have an assumption about the price. So what if the price increases 200,000 each for both scenarios, for the ones that are outside of central region and for the ones that are also in the central region? With a 200k increment from 1.3 million, you will actually reach $1.5 million. But however, if the rental stays stagnant, do you know that it actually affects your rental yield? So if the rental actually stays stagnant, right, given the same rental of 3,200 and 4,600, you'll notice that your rental yield actually dropped from 3% to 2.5% for the outside of central region, and you actually drop from 4.2% to 3.7% for the ones in One Marina Garden. This means that your buyer who are buying over your unit in the future, around 3 to 5 years when you exit, they will actually have a lower rental yield. However, for One Marina Gardens, as I shared earlier, usually people who are buying to central region, they are investors looking at higher rental yield, and hence rental yield is something important that you should really take note of here if you're entering One Marina Gardens as an investor. So if you do not have a 4% or higher rental yield in the central region like One Marina Gardens, what will happen? What if your rental yield is less than 4%? Here I will show you a scenario with a real life case study. So this real life case study is actually at Marina One Residences. Do you know that actually more than 50% of the Marina One Residences owners actually lose money? Don't get me wrong, not all 100% lose money, but more than 50% actually lose money. And do you know the reason why? It's very important to understand this reason about why Marina One Residences owners make or lose money, because your One Marina Gardens is actually very close by to the Marina area, and this is one of the case study that you need to understand before entering, because history might sometimes repeat itself. So for the Marina One Residences, you can look at this chart. This chart actually shows the profit on the right side itself. So the profits ranges slightly above 83,000 all the way to maximum 567,000 for the 4-bedroom. But one thing that you can also see is that most of the profit are actually coming from the 2-bedroom and also the 1-bedroom. If you are entering today as a rental yield owner, you might want to consider your unit selection, because it's very important for you to choose the right unit when you're entering One Marina Gardens. So for the owners that make profit in the Marina One Residences, which is less than 50%, how will their rental yield like, and what make it easier for them to exit as an owner? So these are actually the rental yield for the owners that actually exit safely for the Marina One Residences. On average, Marina One Residences rental will range around $5,000 to $5,500, and the price in Marina One Residences is around $1.38 million to $1.68 million. This means that the rental yield will average around 4.3% to 4.78%, even if the buyers are buying it at a second hand over from the first owner. So can you see that if you enter with a very safe and higher rental yield, the buyers that are buying from you in the future, even when they buy from you, they also have a higher rental yield, and this gives them reason why they should actually buy into another central region project. And if they are investors, they will actually look into this project because the rental yield is very high, 4.3% to 4.78%. If you remember earlier, I've shared with you that the average rental yield around Singapore is around 3.4%. So anything that is more than 3.4% in Singapore for the rental yield itself is actually better than average, and it's something that property investors will actually consider. So how do you count your rental yield? So rental yield is actually calculated by the rental times 12 months divide by the price that you actually purchase the property. So when you're selecting the unit, you can also calculate to see whether the rental yield that you're purchasing is more than 3.4%. If you're entering central region, your rental yield must be more than 4% for you to exit safely. So next, I have another example of a 2-bedroom for the Marina One Residences. So for the 2-bedroom of Marina One Residences, the rental is around 7,000 to 8,000 a month for the 2-bedroom in Marina One Residences, and the price is selling from $2.3 million to $2.73 million depending on the layout size of the 2-bedroom, and the average rental yield is around 3.6% to 4.17%. So as you can see, this number is still higher than the market rental yield of 3.4%, and hence you can still exit safely if you are more than 3.4%. But for you to exit safely, I will actually recommend you to go for more than 4% for the One Marina Residences. Okay, here you see a lot of red marks. So what are these red numbers that are denoted here over at the right side? These are actually the losses that the owners have made from the Marina 1 residences, and as I shared earlier, more than 50% of the owners actually lose money. And the reason why they lost money is because the price they are buying into in this central region is higher and the rental yield is very low. So later I'll also explain to you why. So if you're buying into a higher price quantum today at One Marina Garden and you're ignoring about rental yield, this could potentially be your future. So please take note. So for example, for this 4-bedroom owner, he bought it at $6.3 million and afterwards he exited at $5.8 million. In total of 1 year, he lost $562,000. Yes, 1 year you lose $562,000 if you buy into the wrong property. Next, we have a 3-bedroom example of the Marina 1 residences losses. So this owner bought in at $3.8 million and exited at $3.4 million. So in short, he lost a total of $422,000 in a short span of 2 years. Next, we have examples of 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom and 1-bedroom also. So for example, a 2-bedroom owner, he entered at $2.9 million and exited at $2.5 million. And in this short period of time of 3 years, he lost $410,000. Wow, there are really a lot of examples, and that's why you should really understand about rental yield and why it's important for you if you're entering into a central region. So here's the explanation of why these owners lose money. Because they have to reduce their price to match the rental yield. What if they do not reduce their price? So if they do not reduce their price, they are selling at $1.76 million to $1.85 million. This quantum for a 1-bedroom. This will mean that the rental yield is from 3.4% to 3.56%. Do you remember I told you that for One Marina residences, it's best if you have more than 4% rental yield so that you can exit safer. With this rental yield, it doesn't make sense for investors to come in. These investors can also invest in the outside of central region project and they can also get these returns. Why should they come into the Marina Bay? Why should they come into a central region? That's why if you're buying in at the wrong quantum and you have the wrong rental yield, likelihood this will be your future. However, once they reduce the price from $1.76 million to $1.38 million, you can see that the rental yield actually improves significantly from a 3.4% to a 4.3%, which is more than 4% itself, and that's why these owners are able to exit successfully but at a loss. So this is an example for the 1-bedroom Marina 1 residences. We also have a 2-bedroom Marina 1 residences example here. So the rental that the Marina 1 residences rental yield is around $7,000 to $8,000 a month. And previously, before the owners reduced the price, it was asking around $2.86 million to $2.91 million, and this will result in the average rental yield of 2.93% to 3.29%. And with this rental yield, it is below the investors' expectations of 4% a month, and that's why no choice. These Marina 1 residences owners that bought in at a high price must drop their price so that they can actually exit this property and move on with another chapter of their life. So end up, the prices dropped from $2.86 million to $2.3 million, and the rental yield eventually increased slightly. So this is why rental yield is very important in central regions if you are looking for investment. However, if you're okay to buy into an investment with less than 4% rental yield, you don't mind a 3.6%, 3.7%, you can also consider projects that are outside of the central region, which is outside of like Marina Bay area. And next, moving on, I'll be sharing about the 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom rental yield in Marina 1 residences. So while you can see the numbers, for the 3-bedroom, the rental yield is around 3.6% to 4.06%, and 4-bedroom is around 2.8% to 3.06%. So you can easily see that the rental yield is less than 4% if your future buyer buy from you, because when they buy in at a higher price, likelihood the rental yield will drop by another 0.5%. That's why your investors might find it challenging to accept or move into this project. So if you are buying into One Marina residences, remember your rental yield must be more than 4%. So we have enough examples of Marina 1 residences, and do we have other examples that are also in the central region but performing differently? Yes, we do. So we have examples from the Midtown Modern that TOP recently in 2025, and how's the profit for the Midtown Modern? So these are the profits for the Midtown Modern. You can see that the profits are very green. It ranges from 85,000 all the way to 577,000 in a short span of 3 years or 2 years, which means right after the seller's stamp duty, the owners actually sell it at a profit. And this is a good example of a central region new launch that you can actually get into. So the examples also ranges from 2-bedroom all the way to 3 bedrooms. I believe the bigger bedroom size haven't have any transactions yet, and that's why we are only seeing these transactions so far. For the Midtown Modern, we do not have any rental yield at the moment because they just TOP in 2025 and we do not have enough transactions about rental to show you the rental yield. However, I can show you an example of dual residences, which is an example that is nearby the Midtown Modern. So dual residences, the profits are also very attractive, from 300,000+ all the way to 500,000+, even for the 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom and 3-bedroom. And how are the rental yield like for the dual residences? So for dual residences, right, they have a total of 660 units and TOP in 2017. Right now, for the 1-bedroom itself, its rental yield is from 4.31% all the way to 4.44%. This rental yield is very positive and is more than 4% that is recommended for the central region. And for the 2-bedroom, the rental yield is ranging from 2.92% to 4%, which is also very healthy for the profits they are getting here and also the rental yield combined. So with these examples of dual residences, Midtown Modern and Marina 1 residences as case study, I'll explaining more with you about the One Marina Gardens OMG and how you can actually get a better yield and aim for a unit that have a better rental yield so that you can exit safer in the market itself. So why One Marina Gardens? If you still unfamiliar with Marina 1 residences, these are your rental pool that you can potentially get. You have a very strong rental pool here at One Marina Gardens because it is located in the central region. It's very close by to the city's financial heartbeat, and it's also very prime because professionals working in the CBD area will want to stay closer to CBD area so that they can have more time walking home leisurely and walking around the park. They do not need to rush to office, and also they can either walk or ride to the office itself via the MRT, and that's why it creates a very vibrant lifestyle. For your tenant pool here, you have a very healthy tenant pool from these office workers in a CBD area, and you're also surrounded by entertainment, shopping and a lot of foods around the area. And also in the Tanjong Pagar area, we also have many residential around the area, and I'll share with you here. So on top here we have Icons, and on the left side we have Altes, and on the right side we have Sky Suites at Anson. These are the different projects that also have very high rental yield, and they are very close by to the city fringe and also the CBD area. You can see that nearby we have the Tanjong Pagar MRT, so it's really very convenient for professional office workers to actually rent and walk to work from the condo itself. So for these 3 projects, Icon, Altes and also the Sky Suites, you will notice that these projects are actually built quite some time back in the 2022 and 2028. So it has been quite a long time since the Marina area and also like the CBD area have a very popular and distinctive project. So for this Icon, Altes and the Sky Suites, on total they have around 1,000+ units. When we add 646, 280 and 360, right now we still have more professional workers in the market, and there is really a demand for offices, and there's really a demand for rental units in the central region itself. How is the rental yield like in these projects that is near Tanjong Pagar? You'll notice that they are also qualifying to the statistics that I shared with you. Your rental yield must be more than 4%. So for Icon, the average rental yield is 4.47% and the 2-bedroom is 3.78%, very close to the 4%. For Altes, it's around 4.38% for both 1 and 2 bedroom, and for the Sky Suites at Anson, it's around 5% to 4.3% for the 1 and 2 bedroom itself. So yeah, then again, these properties here have very healthy profits, and that's why it's very important for you to take note of the rental yield. And also here, you will notice that their price right here is very attractive. Your quantum when you enter the project in a central region must be as low as possible, because if the quantum is lower, this means that given the same monthly rental, your rental yield will be higher. So your focus here is also to get a unit with a price that is as low as possible so that you do not get a lower rental yield as compared to your neighbors, and it will be easier for you to exit. So without further ado, let's move in to One Marina Gardens. Let me share with you about the location, the fact sheet, the layouts, and also the price. So Marina One Gardens is actually built by Kingsford developer. So there's a total of 2 blocks, 30-story and 44-story, with a commercial at level 1. And this is a 99 years project with a total of 937 units itself. It's expected to TOP around 2029. Interestingly, there's also shop, restaurant, and childcare right below your development, so you do not need to worry if you have kids also, because it's very convenient since you have a childcare right below the development. Also, when I shared earlier, the last Marina area new launch was actually Marina One Residences in 2014, so I believe there will be a lot of pent-up demand for the One Marina Gardens. And for the One Marina Gardens, the developers have focused mainly on the smaller units. You'll notice for the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 2 plus study, and 2 plus study with the home shelter, it takes out a total of 70.22%. So this is actually a very huge percentage because most of the people who buy into One Marina Gardens are actually investors, and as investors they are usually aiming for a lower price quantum, and that's why it's usually made out of 1 and 2 bedroom. We also have 3 bedroom dual key, 3 bedroom and 3 bedroom premium, and also the 4 bedroom if you're interested to buy it for homestay, staying very close by to the Garden by the Bay and having a leisure walk right after your work. Generally, the facing will be northeast and southwest orientation, and I'll share more with you later on. So this is how the property will look like for the 44-story here and the 30-story here. There is also sky gardens and facilities at this green components area, and you can take your time to pause and screenshot this screen so that you can focus on the facilities. So the facilities will be on level 14, level 24, and also level 45. So why One Marina Gardens? One Marina Gardens is actually located here, and this is a garden by the bay. So if you love nature, you have a huge greenery and forest here. You can get the Garden by the Bay. I know you can always go there almost every day. So if we were to zoom in further, One Marina Gardens is also very close to the MRT over here, which is the Marina South MRT. And also for here, you are really surrounded by the business hub, Garden by the Bay, which gives you more convenience and also prestige. And also the Garden by the Bay MRT and the Marina South MRT is already open. It was open in 2022, so don't worry, the transport here is very convenient. Here's the orientation for the One Marina Gardens. So generally, the ones facing the Marina Bay will be over here at the left side and the top side of the development. And also for here, you'll be either facing the offices or the future residences over here. And why is this plot and this OMG One Marina Gardens so hyped up and you can hear so many people talking about One Marina Gardens? This is because there is a lot of land over here. So you count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, a total of 16 plots of land for sale in the next 20 years or 25 years according to the master plan. This was different previously because previously it was reserve site and also a white plot, and right now the government have decided to speed it up to 16 plots of land, which means there'll be more future developments over here at the Marina Gardens itself. And what the government or the URA have actually planned is something like this. So you can see that One Marina Gardens is over here, and in the future there will be more plots of land over here, and this will actually make up a new township for the Marina Gardens. So if you are entering into One Marina Garden, you're actually taking a first mover advantage because there will be more plots released subsequently after you itself. So beyond 2025 and moving forward, this whole area will be a more luxury kind of place. There will be more hotels, service apartments, offices, retails, and also residential projects, and it will be even more convenient in the future itself. Without further ado, I will share with you more about One Marina Gardens, 1 bedroom analysis, and also the rental yield that you will be having if you were to enter One Marina Garden. First, we will anticipate the average rental that you might get from the One Marina Garden. So I will use examples from the Icon, Altez, and also the Sky Suite. So you can see here that the average rental over here at Icon is around $4,445 with an average of $7 PSF. Next, we have Altez. The average 1 bedroom rental is around $5,000 a month with an average PSF of $7.49. And last but not least, we have Sky Suites at Anson. The 1 bedroom is around $3,600 for the rental, and on average, the PSF is around $10. This is because for the Sky Suites at Anson, the unit size is actually smaller, around 300 to 400 square feet. So need not worry, if your size is smaller, you actually have a higher PSF, and that will also give you a higher rental. So on average, average, right, for One Marina Gardens, the rental will be around 4,500 and onwards. And if today you're entering One Marina Gardens at $1.16 million, your rental yield will be around 4.65%. So while 4.65% is actually very good because it is way more than 4% rental yield that I shared with you earlier, if you buy in at a higher price, your rental yield will drop and you'll be below 4.65%. That's why it's important for you to calculate on the day of balloting itself, is your rental yield more than 4%? If it's more than 4%, do you want to consider other projects or do you really want to stay near Gardens by the Bay? Next, we'll move on to the one bedroom layout types. So I'll be showing you 3 main different sizes. So total, there's a total of 240 units of one bedroom, which is around 25% of OMG. So it's very important for you to choose the right unit. Generally, your focus should be number 1, 4% rental yield. Number 2, the price must be as low as possible so that you get a higher rental yield. So focus on the quantum. I would say the layout here in the One Marina Garden will not matter as much because the main point here will be the quantum. So if you're looking at the quantum, right, according to this layout, the one that you should prioritize is the one with the lowest price, which means the one with the smallest square feet size so that you can actually get a better quantum. So where are these units facing? Generally for the one bedroom unit types is actually facing over here. We also have some facing at the Garden by the Bay itself. But your focus here, if you're an investor today, will be a smaller size one bedroom first, followed by those bigger size one bedroom. And hence, you're looking at the one bedroom layout itself. These are your recommended according to the size itself. Next, moving on to the 2-bedroom One Marina Garden analysis and also the rental yield. So same thing here, we will find out the average anticipated rental yield for the One Marina Garden. So here we have Icon with average of $6,047 and the monthly PSF is around $5.84. And next for the LTES, the monthly 2-bedroom is around $7,500 with a monthly rental PSF of around $7.14. And last but not least, Sky Suites at Ensigns, the average 2-bedroom is around $5,543 with an average PSF of around $8.39. So on average for the One Marina Gardens, a 2-bedroom will be around $6,500. So if the price of the One Marina Gardens is from $1.8 million onwards, your rental yield will be at 4.33%. So you can calculate backwards to see what's the maximum price that you can accept if you are an investor looking at One Marina Gardens. You can calculate backwards from the rental price and also the sale price. How much is your yield? Maybe you want to stop at 4%. If you are getting less than 4%, you might want to consider other options. So these are the layout types for the 2-bedroom. So total for the 2-bedroom, we have a total of 6 types. And here we have the 2-bedroom normal layout over here, 2-bedroom plus study and 2-bedroom with the home shelter. If you look at the layout, you'll notice that for the study is over here and for the home shelter is over here. These are actually very good for the buyers. If you're looking for somewhere to work from home, they might consider a 2-bedroom plus study layout, or if they're looking for home stay, they might want to consider a home shelter because this gives them some space to put in items and also store all the different random items in the home shelter. Otherwise, if you're an investor looking at One Marina Garden, you might want to select the smallest layout, which is 646 square feet, and this is the smallest layout at Stag Night from $1.8 million. So remember here, we will focus based on the quantum so that you can exit safely if you are an investor today. Of course, if you are buying for staying, it's also important for you to consider because you don't want to be like some owners that enter into Marina One residences and they actually exit with a loss after staying there for a while. So again here, for the site plan, we have 2-bedroom over the different facings over here, and generally we will focus more on the 2-bedroom that are smaller size than the bigger size units. Next, for the 3-bedroom, the prices are coming from $2.45 million. One good thing is that the walls are actually hackable for this layout. So these actually give you a bigger living space, or if you want to have a flexibility in terms of the layout and the design. However, one thing to note is that for all the 3-bedroom layouts in the OMG, it do not have a wardrobe. So usually there is a wardrobe here in the 3-bedroom, but for OMG One Marina Gardens, there is no wardrobe. That means that you might need to incorporate some expenses to put in a wardrobe. Otherwise, you might need to buy an additional cupboard after you actually move in. So total there are 6 types of 3-bedroom layouts, and there is also a very interesting layout called the 3-bedroom dual key over here at the One Marina Garden. So this is the 3-bedroom dual key layout. So dual key are actually very rare in new launches and also in developments, but it's something that you can consider if you are an owner looking to stay and also invest at the same time. Because with a dual key layout, right, you actually have 2 doors over here. So you usually have 1 door over here and 2 doors over here. So this will actually be rented out, and this part over here will actually be for you to stay. So you have the flexibility to also earn income from rental and also offset some of your mortgage while staying in the unit. And that's why 3-bedroom dual key is something that you can consider if you are looking to rent out while you're staying. So for the 3-bedroom dual key, there will also be a higher rental. You looking at the market, if you're renting out the whole unit, you can rent it separately. So for the separately, you rent this 1-bedroom out as a studio and this 2-bedroom out as a 2-bedroom unit. So total you can rent it out at a total of $11,000, and this will give you a rental yield of 5%, which is more than the 4% that is recommended over here for the central region. And next we'll move on to the 4-bedroom unit type layouts. So for the 4-bedroom unit type layouts, it is from $4.45 million, and this is a very good location because you have the best view. So for the 4-bedroom layout type, the view is actually facing the garden by the bay on the left side and on top with the bedroom and balcony area. So it's very beautiful if you were to stay here at One Marina Gardens at a 4-bedroom layout. And also here we have a landscape living and dining. So it's actually very spacious because usually a living and dining area is portrait and it do not feel as spacious. And also for the bedroom 4, you can also have alternative to hack away this wall. So this layout actually gives you a lot of flexibility at the One Marina Garden. It's something interesting if you are a Garden by the Bay lover and you want to bring your family to stay with you together at One Marina Gardens. So we've come to the end of the video. To conclude, if you are entering One Marina Gardens OMG itself, you must take note of the rental yield. Rental yield is very important in this project. So best you can consider a unit that is more than 4% rental yield. So you should focus on those prices and quantums that are lower, as low as possible, so that you can get a better rental yield. And that's why over here you must focus on smaller size units. And the prices for the 1 to 4 bedroom are already out. These are the prices. The preview will start from 29 March and the booking date will be from 12 April. So if you have more questions about the One Marina Garden, or you are still confused about how you can select your unit, which is a better option for you, or should you consider One Marina Garden or other new launches, feel free to contact me at 9431 4533. So that's it. Remember to like, share and subscribe to my video. Thank you. Bye bye.